Okay, Dave, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I'm at the tail end. There's, I think, one more person after me, and people have been sitting through a lot of really good offers and good info. And I hope you think that our info is just as engaging and interesting. I think that what we do at 10-minute trades is unique and different than what most other companies are doing. So in this next couple of minutes, I'm going to explain to you exactly what we do. We also have a brand new upgrade to our software coming out literally in a couple of days. Our software is called JOBB version 11, and we're going to have an exclusive offer for everybody watching on Festival of Traders as our way of saying thanks for being here. So again, thanks for being here and thanks for having me. At 10-minute trades, we do something special. We trade appointment-based trading. Just please remember, it's possible to lose money trading futures. We have the pleasure of breaking down the ins and outs of our secret weapon, which is our software. But before I get into the software, I'd like to just explain briefly what it is that we do. So we trade market moving events, and there are four elements that make up the trading of the events. We have our weekly schedule that we send to all of our members every week, every Sunday. So the Sunday that the week begins, all of our members receive our schedule and they know when we're going to be in our trade room. The schedule has information when the trade room opens, what events we're going to trade specifically. We're trading the news. We use the Ninja Trader platform and we use our software to help us do it. And we teach and show you how to do it in our trade room. So for instance, this week, right before I got here, we were trading the 10-year bond auction. And then tomorrow we'll be trading the natural gas storage report, the 30-year bond auction. On Friday, we'll be trading WASD. But to make it short and sweet, element one is our weekly schedule. So our members know what we're going to do at the beginning of the week, what we're planning on trading. Then each of our individual events has a daily trade report. I would say about 80% of the events that we trade have a document called the Daily Market Mover. That's element number two. The Daily Market Mover has a history of the event that we're trading, the specific news, and it has a setup that we're going to use in our software with Ninja Trader, what the targets are, what the stops are, if we're going to bracket the trade or not. What do I mean by bracket the trade or not? What we do, one of our most popular trading methods, is we create a price above and below the market, the current market price. This here is the current market price. We put an order above the price. We put an order below the price. The news comes out. We get pulled into the market one way or the other. That's the bulk of the way that our trades take place. They happen in a matter of seconds. And those daily trade reports help our members, help you to determine how to trade the event that we're trading that day according to our schedule. Then, of course, we have trade room access where we teach everybody how to go over the events. We study the events in the trade room and we go over the previous event. How did it work last month? Did it work 2 months ago? And then, of course, we have our software. Now, I could never begin to explain and teach you how to use our software in 30 minutes, but suffice it to say that our software is easy to use. And in our trade room, every day we go over all of the individual events one by one, and we trade them together. And it's a fantastic way to trade market moving events, news, earnings, trading futures with earnings. We designed a methodology where, for instance, if we want to trade Amazon, we're actually going to trade Amazon with the NQ futures. So I'll get into all of this a little bit more, but I just wanted to make sure you understand the basics of what we do, the four elements: weekly schedule, daily trade report, help in the trade room, and software. I love appointment-based trading because I don't have to spend my whole day sitting in front of my charts waiting for events to set up. We trade specific events. We know the market is going to move at that time, and those are the events we trade. So I don't have to wait for setups. I know when the setups are going to occur. And that's why we are so different than most other companies. We trade a schedule that we know in advance. Think about that. That is a game changer. We trade a schedule that we know in advance. No more sitting in front of computers for hours and hours. I think that most of you know that the more time you spend in the market, the more money you lose. The less time you can spend trading, the better. And if you can maximize the exact moment that you want to trade, it's going to be even better. We don't care if the markets are up, down, or sideways. These market moving events are going to move the markets almost always in a tradable manner so that we can create setups to trade them. That is the beauty of the methodology that we're using. These markets are extremely volatile, but that doesn't matter because of the way that we trade. Even with this extreme volatility, you could still sit around for hours and hours waiting for a good setup, and you could miss the setup if the market goes too fast. Like I said, we do things differently. And I say this over and over and over, trading on a schedule that we know in advance, it will change your life. I used to sit in front of my computer screens all day long, just waiting and watching and over trading and revenge trading and doing all the things wrong that I shouldn't be doing. Trading events is a much better way to trade. So, final reminder, weekly schedule, daily trade report, trade room, and software. Very simple. And we call that appointment based trading. The greatest add on, the greatest help that we have to trading this methodology is our software. We have been working with the same software program that we designed 10 years ago, and we're now up to version 11. It's a custom strategy add on to NinjaTrader. It has multiple setups. It automates your trade entries, your targets, and your stops. Because think about it, and I'm going to show you some trades before I go. When you're trading fast moving market events, you don't want to be fumbling around trying to put your orders on the chart. We have software that automates the process. Sometimes you will manage yourself out of a trade. In other words, sometimes there will be a lot of profit available, and you will have to make a decision. Do I want to get out of the trade, or do I want to manage myself out of the trade? So the software, however, automates the entries in particular, which is the trickiest part of event-based trading. The markets could be volatile. You want to remember what we're doing is we're putting brackets on the chart. So we're going to automate this process of putting the bracket on a chart so you don't have to think about getting ready. We already got ready because we have our daily report that shows us how to set up the trade. Now, remember, what's great about our daily report is we send those out to our members the day before an event. So if we're going to trade, for instance, this morning's oil report, which we happen to trade today, and yesterday's Tuesday afternoon API report, we trade that report. And let me show you yesterday's API report because it'll really give you an idea of what I'm talking about if you're not familiar with appointment-based trading. So we made an appointment in our trade room yesterday where we all met. Obviously, we know that at 4:30 p.m. every Tuesday, the API report comes out. It's a weekly storage report for oil. We're trading the oil futures, and before the event is ready, before 4:30, we look at our daily trade report and we set the trade up. And this particular trade, we call it a range trade. We use time to create a bracket. So nothing is, almost every trade that you're trading is a breakout trade. Our software created a bracket in time. It automatically put those orders on the chart. And then we just waited for the news to come out. And this was trading live real money. The news came out. I got pulled into the market short. Right about now, I'm in the market short. I'm waiting to see how this trade develops. And in a couple of seconds, you're going to see the market's going to move down. That X that you see there is my first target. The market hits my first target for my first profit. And then there's my second target. I shrunk it a tiny bit. Just my experience with this trade gives me an idea of what to expect in terms of profit. Boom, the market goes down. And I had almost a $200 profit. I was in the market for 40 seconds. That's the way that we trade. So you see how the elements all fit together. The weekly schedule got me in the room with all of our members, our software, and our trade room. We taught everybody how to set the trade up, and then we executed the trade, and it happened to work beautifully yesterday for a nice profit. That is the concept of what we do. And that's what our software did for us. It put the orders on the chart. It actually almost completely automated, other than my moving a target a couple of ticks. The trade was essentially 90% automated. That was a report called the API report. We find dozens and dozens of these events by reading the various calendars, Forex Factory, investing.com. There's many calendars that list market moving events that will move the markets. And our company, 10-Minute Trades, has been specializing in trading these types of events I've been here for 7 years. The company's been around for 10. That's how long we've been trading the news. Our software is also what we call a super ATM program. It's an automated trade manager. I'm sure you've heard, and I'm sure that many of you have learned how to program the platform that you're using. And you program the platform to move your stops and to set up your targets. Well, our software is much easier. You don't really have to learn a language or any kind of complicated programming to set it up so that it's a super ATM. It has built-in trailing stops and the ability to move your stop if your target is hit. That's what we mean when we say it's a super ATM. Because we have software, it takes a lot of the emotion out of the trade. You're not worried all the time about what's going to go on because your trade is set up before the event takes place. We know what to expect because we study the events over and over. We're trading the same events over and over, month after month, week after week, if it's a weekly event. That makes it so that you can know what to expect, and you want to trade the events that give you the highest probability of being successful. So we study all of these events, and then we take the best of those events, and those are the ones that we trade on a regular basis. Our software literally, probably thousands of hours that we've invested in testing and working out our software. It's unique in the trading industry. I've not seen, other than years ago, there was one company that had software similar to what we used to do, and unfortunately, they're not around anymore. I don't know of any other product on the market that does trade the way that our software trades. And you can still use our software if you're just a regular discretionary trader and you want to set up your own trades. You can use our software just as a discretionary trader as well as if you're a news or an event trader, appointment-based trader, we like to call it. It's a fantastic way to trade the markets. Our software has setups built into the software. One of the biggest things that we're really excited about is we have a new feature, a new setup coming out called the magnet trade. And it's actually, we think it's going to be a game changer for us. It's only in its first version now. Let me give you an idea why we are so excited about it. So the magnet trade works on a very simple concept. I think that everybody recognizes that when you trade the markets, how many times have you noticed that a certain indicator or a certain support or resistance area is a magnet over and over and over? Well, our magnet trade lets you determine what those magnets are, and it can be a custom magnet or it could be a high of day, low of day magnet trade. And then it sets up a trade as you approach those magnets. So, for instance, this particular day, how many times have you said to yourself, I know oil's going to make a new low here? Well, our magnet trader lets you set up that trade so that I now have a target around the low because I believe it's going to be tested. And sure as we're sitting here on that test, it did exactly that. It's going to go and test that low, hit the order, and boom. That's the concept of the magnet trade. Now, keep in mind that anything can be a magnet. Any area on the chart that you determine is a magnet can be set up as a trade to be a magnet trade at that moment. It's a fantastic, really powerful but simple way to make an area of support and resistance an automated trade. So we think it's going to be a fantastic new product. But I'm not going to say what we're going to do with it. We're going to have a very, very special offer when the software is released next week. But suffice it to say, the magnet trade will be something you'll be able to work with, and it's easy to use, fantastic new feature. We have another setup called the trap trade. The trap trade is there's many events that reverse rather than just move in one direction. The trap trade takes advantage of those reversals. We have the ability to, like I said before, trade futures on selected stock earnings. We have buttons that make trading easy. You could just press a button and your stop will move to break even. You could press a button and your stop could move to break even plus or minus a certain level. All sorts of features. We have in our software an adjust button because remember what we're doing. We're bracketing our trades, right? So sometimes in a trade, as you're waiting for the event to take place, price is moving up and down and the brackets become changed. We have a new adjust button that you click the adjust button and it recenters the bracket. That's a brand new feature in our software. We've updated our range trades. What's a range trade? Lots of traders love trading. Say you like trading the market open from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can set up a range and then you can trade the breakout or the breakdown of that range using our software. You could set that trade up in about 2 minutes. Very popular method. You could create any kind of range based on time, numbers of bars, zones, and that's built into our software as well. The trap trade I explained, we have just simple reversal trades where you can, news trades very often reverse, and we have a very simple setup in our software that lets us take advantage of those reversals. And like I said, much of this can be automated or semi-automated, we like to think. And that's a rundown of the features in our software. I think for us, one of the best things that we can always do is show you some of the trades because it really gives you a feel for exactly what we are doing. So remember, at the beginning of the week, you're getting our schedule, but we're getting that schedule from calendars. If you're familiar, for instance, with Forex Factory, it's a standard calendar that every trader should be familiar with and every trader should be using as a part of your daily trading. Just as a way of being smart, you should know what's going on in the news on a day that you're trading. So if you're in the market when Australia is releasing their policy statement, you don't want to be trading certain markets because it might blow you out of your trades. These are the calendars, though, that will give you ideas what events you may want to trade. The British bank statement tomorrow morning might be a very interesting event to trade. British GDP Friday at 2 in the morning. The Canadian employment report. These are the events that we trade, and we find them by using those calendars. So let me show you a few examples of some of these trades because that's the key of what we do. But first off, let me show you a member making the trades because it's not about the way that I trade or it's not about the profits that I made in the room, but it's often about how did our members do. Last earnings period, we all traded NVIDIA. NVIDIA, everyone knows, everyone's watching NVIDIA. This particular member is one of our regular traders. He was down, looks to me like he was down about $180 before NVIDIA released their earnings last quarter. And he traded this in our trade room with us, trading NVIDIA. And I'll show you my NVIDIA trade in a second as well. Now, if you notice, he's got the trade bracketed. The news came out, NVIDIA earnings pushed the market up. He was trading the NQ. When that trade was over, and the trade is already over, all right, it was over in about 20 seconds. He had a profit of over $3,000 on that trade. You can see it in his control panel, and it was live cash money. Our NVIDIA trade went very similar. Obviously, if you're trading the same event, the movement is going to be similar. What you'll be able to see here is it's a little bit clearer. The bracket is placed. We study NVIDIA. I watch their earnings every quarter. I set up a trade. The market exploded up and the trade was over in 15 seconds and we had a profit of $1,500. Real money, live cash. You could withdraw it that day if you're able to, take money out of your account. That was our NVIDIA trade. $1,500 on that trade in a second. Now, look, obviously, not every trade is a $1,500 trade, but what we are here to do and what we do for our members is we are teaching you which are the best trades to take. What are the best events that are going to give you the best opportunity for profit? I can't wait for the next NVIDIA trade. I fully expect to make money on it. If I show you the previous NVIDIA trade, we made $760 on that trade. Like I said, every trade's not $1,000 trade. This week, we have the WASD report coming up. That's a grain report that we have taught our members how to trade. It's using the grain futures, no different than using the S&P futures or the YM futures. One of our members traded a recent WASD report. She traded from Kenya and made $550 on that WASD report. I have hundreds of screens that our members sent us. Last week was the non-farm jobs report. One of our members traded the non-farm jobs report, a $250 profit. Nothing wrong with making $250 on one trade when you were in the market for about 40 seconds at most. Another very popular trade that members have been trading, the Australia rate statement. One of our members traded it. One of those trades netted them over $700, trading the Australia rate statement. That trade happened to be last Tuesday evening. It was 12. It was not evening. It was 12 in the morning. Some of our members traded that report. It was a winning trade. It's been a very good event to trade. Our goal, as I've said, is to teach our members how to do this. I traded this report in my Top Step account because you can trade these events using Top Step, Buell Knox, and Lilu. They allow this type of trading in a prop account. All the prop accounts have different rules and different ways that they, allow you to trade. But Top Step allows you to trade our methodology. And I got up in the middle of, well, it was 12 midnight, and I traded that Australia trade in my Top Step account. And this was the exact trade. It hit my first target. I thought it was going to explode to the downside. It pulled back instead. I made $105 on that trade. Not every trade is a $1,500 trade, but the small ones, they build and they add up. So look, this is a very quick half hour showing you what we do. If you go to our website, the link that we've got for this special is www.jobbsoftware.com, jobbsoftware.com. We have a phenomenal offer for anyone that would like to spend 3 months with us. You can go through our offer. It's very, very reasonable, includes every single thing that we offer as a company, all of our software setups, all of our trade room access, learning how to do earnings with futures, learning how to trade news events. 3 months with us for the reasonable price, just $247. And we will teach you virtually everything that you need to learn about trading the news. If this is a style of trading that you would like to add to your arsenal, it's a fantastic way to trade. So once again, that link, so you have it, is www.jobbsoftware.com, jobbsoftware.com. Now, what minimum internet speed do you need? So, Keith, what I would say is in this day and age, I mean, I happen to use BIOS. I have 1 gig internet speed, but our member in Kenya is trading with about 300 megabits. The truth is, today's day and age, any amount of the most of everything that you can have is always the best. The fastest speed, the most reliable connections. We don't recommend trading wireless because we want maximum speed. So I do recommend trade wired if you can. But I mean, people trade wireless, people trade on their laptops, people trade in coffee shops. I mean, this is our history. We've been doing it, like I said, I've been teaching this for 7 years, and I've seen people do everything. You can trade prop accounts. You can trade with micros. One of our members traded Facebook recently. He made 134 bucks on micros. That's a very big trade on micros with just, a moderate amount of contracts. Another trade, one of our members, $1,375 trading Facebook, Meta. One day I'll be able to call them Meta. This is a fantastic methodology. Even if you add it to your existing trading, it's a fabulous way to trade. So I want to thank everybody at Festival of Traders. I appreciate, Dave, you very much for having me here. And folks, highly recommend www.jobbsoftware.com. I would love to teach you how to do this in our trade room. And I want to thank you all for listening. My name is Leigh Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades, and I'd love to see you in our trade room. Thanks very much, Dave.